Welcome to another episode of the podcast Profits Unleashed podcast, the show where we empower coaches and experts to use podcasting as a powerful tool to drive sales and grow your business. Now, I'm your host, Karen Roberts. Now, after the break, I will be back and I'll be talking about monetizing your podcast, even with a small audience. But first, today's guest is Carly Pepin. She is a scaling up business strategist and human behavior specialist. She works with founders and C-suite teams to break through limitations, to align their strategies and lead with greater confidence. So she's going to be here sharing how strategic frameworks and behavioral insights can drive powerful growth, not just in business, but personally as well. Welcome to the show, Carly.
Thank you for having me, Karen.
So we're talking about scaling up with strategy and psychology. But first, can you share with the listeners a little bit about why are you doing this? What inspired you to help businesses scale? And especially, what industries are you specifically targeting?
Yeah, I love business. Absolutely. Business is a phenomenal vehicle, not just for ourselves, but for others. And so the way that I see business is an opportunity to make an impact, right? Through products or services. You can't have a successful business if you're not providing something to someone that's important to them. And so they're only going to buy products and services if they get value out of it. And again, it's important to them. That means you're making an impact. And that's fun to me. That sounds amazing because we also get paid. That's also really fun to me. I love that part of it. There's also the dynamic with business that it really is a personal development journey. And whether you're the founder or an owner or the person who's in charge, if you're on the C-suite team, if you're someone who wants to be on the C-suite team and work your way up, it takes a lot of personal growth and development to become actually the leader and step into those roles. And that's another thing that I absolutely love about it. You're definitely forced to face your own self, your behaviors, and all the different light and dark sides inside of you to get to where you want to go. So it's really quite inspiring. And we love here working with the construction and the hospitality industries. It's two industries that are near and dear to the hearts of the company, and then something that I've also been involved in for quite some time, and things that I'd love to just help expand on in the future. I love hospitality. I think that hospitality is quite inspiring. You literally create these environments that are experiences for people, and these experiences are genuinely life changing. Like, people go on a trip and they come back and there's parts of themselves that they've uncovered and parts of their lives that have changed. And so when I think of hospitality and all the bits and pieces that go into it, into these structures and these environments, I mean, it's quite amazing. And the transformation, again, people get is really phenomenal. And construction is the same. You're building, I love commercial construction where it's like we're building these buildings to house all of these people that are going to have these positions and these jobs, and it helps you put food on the table. It helps you get what you want in life. You're providing products, services. It's things that we love. We're genuinely inspired by all the various dynamics that go into this because we can see the impact that it makes on global scales.
Wow. So this is an arena that I don't know anything about, really. Although I am also the host of Icons of Real Estate. So I deal with realtors, I do deal with commercial realtors, investors, all that kind of thing. But I would have no idea how a business that's in hospitality or construction can actually scale their business with strategy and psychology. So you must have some kind of process.
Yeah.
What is it? How do they do it? How do they do it?
It applies to every business, by the way. Anyone who's listening, all this stuff applies to every business. And it just becomes practically applicable to each person by the questions that we're asking. Like, the vision of a construction or a hospitality company is going to be different than the vision for a pharmaceutical company, or perhaps like someone who makes scrubs, like nursing scrubs, uniforms, things like that. So when we're asking these questions, we're still at the core of it going over the same things. We're just making it applicable to the company and what they're inspired to achieve and what they're inspired to do. So when we think about strategy, we focus on cash, strategy, execution, right? We're focusing on these people as well. So these different various environments within a company. We do want to focus a lot on the people. People is a huge part of building a culture where people don't just want to stay, they're like dying to work for you. We hear about those companies where we have 10,000 applicants and we only need 5 positions filled, but we get the best of the best. And when they pick it, they're not just picking individuals based off of who's the most qualified for the job. They're picking individuals on who's the most qualified for their culture. And that's why those companies are so amazing to work for, because of the particularities. But those particularities come with your own knowledge, your understanding. So what are your core values in a company? What are your big do's? What are your big don'ts? What are the things that you're inspired to have within that community? What does your community look like? How are you actually getting your community, which is your company, to engage in it? There's different ways. People have events that they put together that are really fun. I know the ones that do really well, they have it somehow infused in the day to day, right? Whether it be in their emails, whether it be like on walls. Like sometimes one company, it's really fun. They have Polaroid cameras, and whenever they capture a moment that they think aligns with the core value, they take a picture and they put it on the Polaroid wall, and it's just covered in like those inspired moments. And so it's like, how do you get people engaged? Is you're getting them, it's almost like a part of a family that they want to be a part of. Work doesn't have to suck. Work can actually be quite fun. And then,
Mm.
yeah, it'd be so fun. And then the other dynamic is you want to know where you're going, right? And that's part of the strategy component, where what is the vision? What's the short-term vision, the long-term vision? The short-term vision will be an asset that comes from the long-term vision. So if you have a big goal that you'd love to achieve in 5 or 10 years, and we really encourage uncovering what the truth of what that would look like would be, then your plans today may not be what you thought they were meant to be, right? So that's why it's, let's see what the true long-term goal of the company is, and let's backstep from there. It's okay, cool. What do we need to do this year to be able to get to that goal in 10 years? How do we close that gap? And then all of a sudden it's like, I see we've maybe been moving in the wrong direction. And that also can get confusing for people as well. So if you're saying you want to achieve this, but then all of a sudden every day they're doing something that they know is not going to get them there, right? It's not going to get the company there. You're not aligned. There's no strategy, there's no people alignment. And that's why it's so important not just to have the culture, but the communication with the culture to help share the things that you're doing, where you're going. And then let me know what
Mm.
question. I feel like I could keep going for a mile a minute, but I'm sure let's just ask a question. It's like
No, that's the you bring in. It's not just, we're not talking about just the strategy, because
yeah.
yeah, what you've shared, that's going to be all part of your business plan, your values, all of that fun stuff. Where does the psychology of it fit in? Yes,
Awesome.
you need strategy, but the psychology of it. And last week when we did the live stream, and you did say that you got to understand, like, you got to be into personal development, otherwise we're going to drive you a little bit mad.
Yeah.
Now, for some companies, they might not have even been introduced to this kind of, let's face it, some companies, they don't bring this into their day-to-day running of the business. So how does the psychology aspect of it have an effect
Yeah.
on scaling their business?
Yeah, so this is really fun because there's the stuff that happens like in the micro and then the macro as well. And for me, this is where you want an edge. This is a huge edge that you can have when you understand these dynamics. So we have prides and we have shames. And we have prides and shames that are going to impact us at a small level, which I'll give you example, large level, right? And so let's say you're the owner or the founder, right? And you are very proud. You've had a great day. You're super puffed up. You think you're amazing. You're awesome. Everyone out there who's had a business understands what I'm talking about. Then you come home, your kid nails you, your husband or wife nails you. All of a sudden, you're getting criticized left and right. And you're like, what the heck? I just had such a good day. You're ruining my day. It's not that that's actually occurring because your day is getting ruined and they're jerks. You were so puffed up, you had so much pride that you're basically getting humbled by outside circumstances to bring you back into equilibrium. You'll also
Mm.
notice that when you're full of shame, let's say you had an awful day at work, it was horrible. Everyone at work now is criticizing you and it's a freaking nightmare. It was the worst day. You don't know what you're going to do. You come home and all of a sudden it's the wife, it's the husband, it's the kids you wanted. Everyone's being really supportive and gentle and caring. That's because you had shame. The outside world, again, is managing your emotions. It's trying to bring you back up to equilibrium. We're not meant to be too low. We're not meant to be too high. We're actually meant to be at a state of neutrality. And so, what we blame on the outside as these frustrating circumstances or things that we want, because generally we think we want to be puffed up. Remember, don't get too. I say this to my husband all the time. We laugh. I'm like, don't get high on your own supply. Which
Love
is our
that.
own pride, right? Because then we
Yeah,
just get slammed. So that's one of our core values actually is don't get high on your own supply is our company core value. Because we wanna make sure we're not getting too high, too proud, because we'll get slammed by outside circumstances. And this is
Ooh.
yeah, this is us
Mm.
having it, like, on the small scale, but ironically, this is also happening on a large scale. We can see this very obviously. Politics right now is very helpful to help you see this dynamic. When we're seeing Donald Trump is a great example, even Elon Musk is having some struggles with it right now. When they're getting too proud and too puffed up and too self-righteous, what's happening? People are coming in and they're starting to cut him down. They're starting to humble him, right? So this is the prides and shame cycle on a grand scale. When they become
Mm.
too low, right, or too self-righteous, what's going to happen? The world comes in and they start to puff them up. And you're seeing it happen so quickly,
Mm.
because that's actually how quickly it happens inside us. And so this is, I mean, I love doing this with businesses like so much because when something happens in a company, it's let's actually see why it's occurring. Why have you actually created this? What is the balance trying to come back into place here? And let's focus on that. And then let's also get some strategy in place as well. Let's balance your prides, balance your shames, balance the emotions that's all around this. And let's get like all these other dynamics into place too. Because this is, you'll see this pattern if you guys actually look, it's really cool. Like when unions come forward, unions are there again as a humbling mechanism. So when employees are not taken care of, and employers are being self-righteous, a union rises up to take care of the employees and remind them like, hey, like you can't just be this self-righteous, you can't be this proud, you can't be this puffed up, right? And so you have this group of people who come in to humble them and bring them back down to size. It's all doing this on a regular basis.
Mm.
It's a real fun edge because it's like when you start to see the patterns, you look and you're like, oh man, I'm really
That's
puffed
what's
up right
happening.
now. Yeah.
Well,
And you'll
and
catch it. Yeah.
it
Um,
happens within it's interesting to hear that this kind of thing does happen within these big companies because as an entrepreneur, as a solopreneur or have a small team, and I say to my clients, give up on going for the ego metrics, I call them. Because it's funny when you mentioned there about the emotion, because when we are working for ourselves and it is our own business, we get too emotionally attached into things.
yeah.
And this is where we can be emotionally driven rather than taking a step back, not allowing the emotion, which sometimes is easy said than done, but it's something that we need to do and look at things from the outside in and find a way, however you can do it, but find a way to become detached from the outcome when you're following your strategy and you're just doing the work. Just focus on doing the work and not allowing the emotion to
Mm.
be attached. It's interesting to see that, to hear that even within the big businesses, this can happen. You could be affected by the ego stuff, and then you're going to get slammed back down to earth. But it's funny how it's funny how we work, right? All we got to do is get rid of all of that stuff and focus on the strategy. But it's interesting that you bring that kind of psychology into it. So, what do you think stopping businesses from
Mhm.
scaling? What are some of the blocks that you see that are holding them back?
Yeah, so it's literally it's all things we love to focus on. It's the people, the strategy, execution, cash, and the mindset. Right? So it's diving in. There's usually not just going to be one or another thing. There's usually like a couple things, but we try to find which one's pulling the strongest lever. So if I go in and I diagnose the business and let's say your cash flows off, it might not actually be a cash problem. Like it might actually be a people problem or a strategy problem or an execution problem. Or sometimes it's your mindset, right? Sometimes that's also the problem. And so it's okay, let's go in and figure out the obvious problem is, and then let's diagnose this until we actually figure out what's going on, what's the root cause, and then we kind of work from there. But those are the things that it seems to stem from, like, hands down, time after time. And sometimes, like, even with the mindset dynamic, we talked about some fun stuff there, but it's also that leadership component, right? It's that imposter syndrome that can come in. It's like, do you have certainty that you can move forward in this vision? Are you questioning yourself? If you're questioning every day, am I going in the right direction? If there's something that you're wanting to do, but you're not doing it because you think you should do this, or you can't figure out like how to do this, right? And you're like, I just can't get it in my brain, but I really want to do this, but I'm just doing this because I feel like I have to. Like, that's also the mindset component as well. It's like, how can we get you to have that certainty to give you permission to move forward into what you would really love? Because I don't want to sit there and build a strategy around something that you're not really wanting to do. I'm setting you up for failure. It's a waste of time and money, right? Where it's, we understand you, we understand the vision, we understand what you're doing, how you're moving forward, and then we put that into the strategy. In bigger companies that have been together for a longer period of time, we don't just do this with the owner, we do this with a whole leadership team, because the leadership team, more often than not, has been there for so long that now they're just as invested as the owner, which is quite beautiful.
Mm.
And so they too have this beautiful vision. And then it's really inspiring to just watch, like, a leadership team come together with the owner and see that they really do have the joint vision, and, like, pulling that out and being like, okay, cool. And then you see them all light up because they're like, yeah, let's do this. Let's go there. This is where we want to go. And they're all excited and jazzed up. And you're like, that's cool to see. So you're really
Fantastic.
cool. Yeah.
So if you're
Mhm.
dealing, if you love to work with hospitality and construction, but what
Mhm.
types of companies do you tend to work with, or who is it that you're looking to work with?
Yeah, it's basically whatever, like, they're involved in. So we could work with individuals who are building buildings. We're also working with roofing companies, like steelworking companies. There's also the dynamic of, I do have an oil company. I've been with them for quite some time, so I like them a lot. They're really fun. But the hospitality, it's like, it could be anything. Like, you think it's hotels, but it's like, what about the people who supply, like, linens to the hotels? The people, even in construction, it's like the ones who are making tiles, right? Marbles, whether they're importing or producing it, the uniform manufacturing companies that are creating uniforms. So we want to stay in the realm of these, basically whatever falls into that little pocket, like,
Mm.
we stay into the realm of those companies and those dynamics, which is quite a significant, it's quite a large group of individuals. And sometimes,
Yeah.
like, Ritz-Carlton has very specific ways of training their people, which is really fun. And there's some companies that do that. And we're like, we want to help you scale too. We train people, but we love what you freaking do, man. Like, your specialty, this is, like, amazing. Let's help you scale. Let's help you grow. Cause I don't know if you ever walk into a five-star hotel, you're like, oh, I get it now. You stay at one and you're like, I get it. I get why you're paying so much. I feel amazing. Thank you.
But so I would have
Hysterical.
thought so many of these types of
Uh,
companies are not reaching out for help, right?
mm,
So they're not looking for an outside person to help them scale their business. Why do you think that is? What else do you think is stopping these
yeah.
kinds of companies from reaching out to somebody like you?
If we think about it, a lot of times, and this happens frequently, is that we've just never had a coach before. And that's totally okay. I remember when I first got a coach, I had never had a coach before. It was a significant investment for me. You go from paying, like, your copay $35 an hour to I was spending $400 an hour, right? And that was a huge jump. And it was a big risk, but obviously it was life changing because I'm here now and I love what I do. And I was like, I want to do that. You changed my life. So that's part of the challenge, is that we often don't understand how much it helps. There's also an unrealistic expectation for us to do it ourselves, right? I love personal development and I love building businesses, but I still have people. I have coaches that are guiding me in personal development and business, not because I don't have all the tools and I can't do it myself, but it's unrealistic for me to think that I can manage all of what I'm doing on a day to day basis and then do all of this other stuff simultaneously. And I love having my accountability partner and the person to ask me questions when I get stuck in my own mindset, right? So if I'm stuck in my own mindset, if I'm there, I know I have someone to say, hey, don't forget, this isn't what we were talking about. This is the vision. Are we still on track with the vision? And it's like, yes, no, that is the vision. And it's okay, then what is this? What is that? What is this? What is that? And someone to just keep me on track and guided for that short period of time, right? So we don't want to have those unrealistic expectations. It was interesting. I was just actually assisting a colleague recently, and they're working with a client, super cool group, amazing. But they had gone through and they've read all the books and they've done all the stuff, and they struggled because they're like, we know all the information, but we just can't seem to get it. And it's like when we're watching them go through these processes in the workshop, we're seeing them get the ahas, the insights. And it's what they said.
Mm.
They're like, we actually know all this. We're like, we went to the advanced courses, we did all of it. They're like, one, we don't have time to implement it all when we get home. We're not sure how to implement it all, so we're not overwhelmed. Two, we never thought of these questions to ask ourselves. And it's three, like, we didn't understand the gravity of the situation and how much this actually can have an impact. Because that's something that
Mm.
we do as well. It's I don't know about you, but I want to pay for my service. I want you to know, like, you are gonna hire me. I may be pricey, but simultaneously I want you to be like, yeah, we made our money back and then some. I want you to be excited about that.
Yeah,
And so that's the other thing too. It's like we're going in and we're checking cash flow and stuff because we just want to make little tweaks to make sure that we're paying for ourselves and then some. Because as consultants,
absolutely.
we want to stick around and keep helping you.
Absolutely. And you're so right. It's not about if
Uh,
it was just, because people go, oh, yeah, I know that, or I know that. Yeah, but there's a difference between knowing and doing. So are you actually implementing that?
yeah,
Probably not. And so, yeah, sometimes you do need somebody outside looking over from a bird's eye view to just sometimes it can be little tweaks, sometimes big tweaks. Sometimes what I have found is even just verbalizing an idea with somebody from outside settles it in your own head. So there's
yeah,
so much more to having a coach than people realize. But what it can do for your business is phenomenal. So if there's anybody out there that's listening in and they know somebody or they've got a company that, oh, this makes a lot of sense, and I need Carly's help. What should they do next?
definitely reach out for sure. So yeah, they can reach out to me at westcoastgrowthadvisors.com and we'll connect. We do the business diagnosis initially, like we'll do it at no cost. And the reason we do that is because we also want to make sure we're a fit. I want to spend time with you. I want you to spend time with me. It's a long-term relationship. Let's make sure we like each other while simultaneously like making sure it's a need that I genuinely can address. Because if not, I have a slew of individuals that I am able to refer to, which is wonderful. So if it's not something that I'm like, this is not my expertise, but I genuinely have someone for you as well. So yeah, we do the basis diagnosis, figure out what's going on, and then see if I'm like the fit. Yeah.
Fantastic. All these details will be on the show notes. So if you missed that, you can resort back to that. Look, Carly, thank you so much for your time today. It's been fun speaking with you. And it's this slightly different arena and something the companies that you're helping, yeah, never even really thought of that side of things. So thank you for your time today. And to the listeners, I will be back after the ads, after the break, and I'm going to be talking about monetizing your podcast, even if you only have a small audience. So, bye for now. Be back after the break. So, I'm back, and today I want to talk about a topic I get asked all the time. Can I actually make money from my podcast if I don't have a big audience? And my answer is always yes, absolutely, but maybe not in the way you've been told. You don't need 10,000 downloads per episode. You don't even need 1,000. What you do need is a strategy and a bit of a mindset shift. So let's dig in. Big audiences don't equal big profit. Here's the thing. You can have 100 loyal listeners and start monetizing. Why? Because those 100 people are choosing to spend 20, 30 minutes with you. They trust you. Hold on. Oh, so I'm back. Today I wanted to talk about a topic I get asked all the time. Can I actually make money from my podcast if I don't have a big audience? And my answer is always yes, absolutely. But maybe not in the way you've been told. You don't need 10,000 downloads per episode. You don't even need 1,000. What you do need is a strategy and a bit of a mindset shift. So let's dig in. Big audiences don't equal big profit. So here's the thing, you can have 100 loyal listeners and start monetizing, right? Because those 100 people are choosing to spend 20 to 30 minutes with you. They trust you. That is huge. So instead of chasing massive download numbers, focus on building relationships with the people already listening. That's where the gold is. So strategy one, sell your own stuff. Hands down, the best way to monetize a small podcast. Sell your own offers. If you're a coach, consultant, if you've got courses, services, whatever it is you do, let's say you're a mindset coach. You could end every episode with, hey, this resonated with you and you want to support. Uh, let's say you're a mindset coach. You could end every episode with, hey, if this resonated with you and you want support to actually apply it into your life, book a free strategy call with me at whatever your website is. It's not salesy, it's just helpful. You're just inviting the listeners to go deeper. Strategy two, use affiliate links. You don't even have to have a massive following to do affiliate marketing. Just recommend tools or products you already use. Like, hey, this episode has been edited with deep. Uh, Strategy two, use affiliate links. You don't have to have a massive following to do affiliate marketing. Just recommend tools or products you already use. Like I could say, hey, this episode has been edited with Descript. I love how easy it makes my workflow. So I've dropped my affiliate link in the show notes if you want to check it out. Oh, I think I best drop my affiliate link in the show notes. Right, simple, no pressure. If people buy, you get paid. Strategy three, interview guests strategically. If you have guests on your show, here's a power move. Start inviting people who could become clients or collaborators or referral partners. That's a big one that I talk about a lot of the time. Have a genuine conversation, build a relationship, and see where it goes. Podcasting is networking in disguise. Strategy four, create premium content. So this one's for the super fans, right? So if you've got a group of listeners who are obsessed with your content, consider offering bonus episodes, private Q&A, early access, or behind the scenes stuff. You know, you've got platforms like Patreon or Supercast. They make this really easy. It's like a VIP club for your biggest supporters. Strategy five, find small scale sponsors. Now, I'm not talking about chasing Coca Cola here. You can start by partnering with a local business, an aligned brand, or even a peer in your niche. So offer a quick mid roll mention in exchange for a flat fee or trade services. Or honestly, sponsor yourself. This episode is brought to you by my one-to-one coaching program. Boom, you've monetized it. Strategy six, sell digital products. Think templates or ebooks or mini courses, something useful, affordable, that solves a quick problem. You can drop it casually into your episodes. If you want to grab my product launch checklist, it's in the show notes. I don't have a product launch checklist. Maybe I should do one. It's passive income that supports your listeners. Strategy seven, build an email funnel. This one's more long term, but it is powerful. Use your podcast to grow your list with a freebie, a quiz, a guide, a short video series, and then nurture those subscribers with emails that lead to your paid offer. Now, it's not instant, but it's sustainable and it works while you sleep. So, quick mindset shift. Here's what I want you to remember. Your podcast doesn't have to be massive to be profitable. It just needs to be intentional. So, if you've got 50 people that are listening every single week, that's 50 people you could invite into your world, your offer, your ecosystem. So stop waiting for big enough and start using what you already have. So let's wrap it up. Recap real quick. Sell your own services, use affiliate links, be intentional with your guests, offer premium content, get small sponsors or sponsor yourself, create simple digital products, build your email list and nurture it. That's 7 different strategies that you can start using right now, even with a small but mighty audience. And look, if this was helpful, let me know. You can tag me on Instagram or send me a DM or share this episode with someone who's stuck on the I need more downloads hamster wheel. Your podcast can absolutely make money. You just need a plan and a mic. So if you want my freebie, you can download my on-demand workshop. It's called Your 6-Figure Podcast Blueprint. And you can go to podcastprofitsunleashed.com/free because it's free. Remember, the size of your audience does not define your success. The strength of your connection does. So guys, thank you for listening. I'll be back next week. Bye for now.
Thank you for listening to today's episode on the Podcast Profits Unleashed podcast. If you're a coach, consultant, therapist, or healer who would like to drive sales whilst having fun podcasting, head over to podcastprofitsunleashed.com/free and find out how you can turn your podcast into a sales machine. We'll see you on the next episode.